Okay, everybody, we are live. We're good?
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Identify Your Mission, the last class.
The last class of Identifying Your Mission. And it's a wrap. And I hope that those who joined us earlier, or if you didn't, find the other classes that are posted on my page or Chaisara's page or Torch. And today we are talking about, I'm going to do a quick review. Identifying your mission. We're under this permanent, basically, that each and every one of us have a unique mission, a gift to give to this world that no one else has. And we're here to basically uncover what is our mission, right? Because we're good spies. And if we don't get our mission, we're not going to be able to do it. So we worked on we made statements of our mission statement, so to say, of what is, and it was through exercises of realizing what is those moments in your life that you feel like you're connected to what you were brought here to the world for. And a lot of you have extracted a mission statement. Ashley's here. Were able to get one? Mm-hmm. You feel connected with it? Does it resonate with you?
I do.
Awesome. So now we're taking it a step further. So that's your unique personal mission. And now we're going to talk about gender, right?
Gender, yeah.
Gender mission.
So this idea of mission, it's a little bit broader than just your personal area that your neshama connects to, whether it be helping the elderly or can you actually share your mission statement? Oh, I can.
Awesome. So I'm putting. Can I get you? No, she doesn't want to. Okay, but we'll hear it.
We will hear you.
Okay. I felt very strongly with some key words that through the exercises, and I kind of put them all together. So for me, it's increasing potential personally and of others through my artistic vision and creativeness.
Wow. I love it. Okay.
Potential. Cool. So that's
very, very cool. So
always the word potential has always stuck, even before extracting words. That word is always we can always grow and elevate and learn and change and develop. So that the potential was like the highlight, the real highlight. Now, how do I go about that? It's through those gifts of the artisticness and creativeness.
Are you talking about your potential or increasing potential for others?
Both.
Yeah, I like that. Very neat. Very neat.
That's what
is that also in other realms as well? Like that increasing potential? Is it through, it's through art, but have you seen that in other areas of your life where you are a catalyst to helping other people?
I sure hope so.
Potential. No, but no, it's because it could be other subcategories of it, if that's something that you really connect to.
I think so. I think, it's always important to leave some sort of mark.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's awesome.
I hope that through the way I see things or the way I want to see things, somebody else also can relate to that vision and want to also do better, go higher.
So it's like inspiring others and elevating others, and so to say, being a lamplighter, right? Lighting others,
So
kind of connecting. I love it. It's beautiful. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit, I think, at the end, okay, now that you have your mission, I'm just curious to know your mission statement. Do you have more clarity? Does it give you more direction in your life? You look at that and you're doing something, you don't feel this and say, I don't want to put my energy in that. Is it helping you prioritize? Is it helping you focus?
For me, I think it's beneficial because, when you get tired, that's the time to really push yourself. Mm-hmm. It's in those moments where you don't feel like doing it. That's when you say, no, but these are the gifts that I've been afforded, and I have to share them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Well, I don't know. I found sometimes you feel more energized. You almost you get that energy.
Even though I know it's very physically tiring, I get so much spirituality or
does it wake you
vitality?
Up?
Yeah, I really feel
fulfilled. Yeah.
When you're in your element, it's amazing. I'm seeing this with my daughter now. She's in Israel. She's in an art-focused school, and high school, she barely spoke. Like it's almost like it killed her in the sense that she wasn't living in her element. Like she didn't feel like served her mission at all. Like she kept saying, well, what do I need to do math for if I'm really an artsy person? And we're like, you have to do high school and then you'll go to art. But I'm seeing she's definitely in her Yeud. She's in her mission.
Element.
Because, and she's in her element. She is on fire. She's happy. She's talkative. She looks better.
Wow.
And it's amazing.
The glow. I think you see the light.
Yeah, you see a light.
Clearly, yeah.
When someone's busy doing their Yeud, their mission, they are on fire. They're infectious. They're vibrant. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is how to make our kids our mission.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! Yeah. So that's the area that we're focused on is like our feminine traits, because so Hashem has this, gave each of us in the neshama, and that's our personal that vibration that we feel when we're in our element and doing our things. That's our personal thing. But He also made us females and able to be married, have children, or just use feminine traits that we have in the world. And so
nurturers, taking care of others, right? So today we want to explore, I guess, these feminine qualities that we have.
So I guess I was just, as you were talking, I was thinking about it because I don't know, I've found for me, some people are more naturally like fulfilled from their feminine traits, and other people I'm not. And so like necessarily. So like it's like an interesting thing. Like, I don't know, I guess like maybe what I'm finding a little bit is like, how to infuse either, I guess raising young children is a very taxing, like hard time anyways, but it's just how to infuse that time. Like you were saying, like, if you love dancing, you dance with your children instead of, if you don't like reading books to them, or like, I don't know, like if I love speaking like Torah concepts to my son, or like, but like sitting there and like, necessarily like doing certain types of homework with him are hard for me. So like, okay, I could push myself like in those realms, but like doing the things that we really enjoy in our feminine role, and that we're gifted at, in that realm too. So I guess it's an interesting thing because your personal Yud, you feel like a real attachment to and like a connection to, but sometimes that feminine Yud, like like Hashem sometimes gives you things in your life that He's like
this is what I want you to focus on now. Right. I this is how I want you to,
we don't want to take you're like, I don't want that right now. But but He knows like your potential is going to be through that. Like you were created a female for a reason. You're not a male for a reason. Like, either you have these children and you have potential for them, or
I'm also thinking for like Ashley, God willing, we'll be dancing every wedding. But like you're not there yet, but you have these beautiful feminine qualities. And a lot of times you're probably in situations where you got to fix it, like we're fix-uppers, right? And, you're taking care of your parents and your nieces and this and that. And sometimes it's like, wait, but I've got this dream here I got to get to, right? And life gets kind of like, right? So the question is how to embrace our feminine qualities, our feminine Yeud, which we have, and not give up, obviously, on our personal Yeud, that thing we feel very attached and passionate about, right? And definitely, once we realize it, it actually will empower us, because we're going to realize that even for our personal mission, we really need to use those feminine qualities, It's like you can't divorce this category, what you are, So instead of fighting it, and I think the big failure of the feministic movement was divorcing from all of femininity, when femininity, we have such amazing qualities, like we should be proud of it, we should embrace it, and take the time that you need and do other things. I'm not saying go be in the kitchen, right? But I'm saying that when you find yourself in situations where you've got to nurture and your place is, you're needed at a certain spot, don't resent that, right? I'm like talking to all of us here. Right. Not coming
well,
from
but it's a whole vote of how not to resent that. Like, it's literally like, how do I, or whether it be, it could be extended to anything, whether children or parents or, your role, what traits you use with your relationships. So that's the feminine role. And sometimes it's like, I forgot what I was saying.
You'd rather not have them, like meaning like that responsibility and the obligation. It's like, but I love that sentence in Spider-Man. It's like, with great power comes great responsibility. So like sometimes you're like, well, I just want to focus on like what it is that I want to focus. but then life needs you. Like you're needed in spots, right? And there's a role, and there's things that you just got to take care of, you know? So we were talking a few weeks ago about consecutive missions. Like it could be like right now, I have a dream, let's say, to write a book. Right now, I'm very busy with a 2-year-old, right? So I'm going to write a book about parenting and being attentive. In the meantime,
After your 2-year-old's grown up.
No, but like.
Well, like how am I attentive to my son?
Yeah, exactly. So, but what if I decided, no, I'm going to do it right now. I'm not saying it's possible to write a book while you have little ones. But let's say you find yourself, like you want to write this book, and you say, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do, right? In the meantime, your kid is neglected. You've not fed him for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like,
or emotionally.
Yeah.
Yes. How great was this book at the end of it?
Right, exactly. I found myself sometimes where I'm like giving, like people call me in the role of a rabbi's wife. I'm a rabbit, so I'm like kind of pastoral counseling. And I'm all like, you need to take time. And it was like preaching about stuff that I should be listening to. Like I'm not doing any of it, You have to be patient. You got to be. And I was like, right. Yeah, right. I was like, telling my kid, shut up. And I'm like, oh, honey, yeah, totally. So it's definitely not authentic. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so the idea is how to embrace it. So Chayesar, tell us about the different matriarchs, because what we decided is when Chayesar was like planning this out, you figured out that if we kind of examine. Are we doing the exercise first, that, and then talking about the matriarchs, or after?
Whatever you want.
No. What do you think? What was the plan? To do this first?
That was the plan.
Yeah. So when we examine our matriarchs, we're going to see these amazing universal feminine qualities that they had, and it wasn't even always even so easy for them.
No, I don't know.
What I loved about
what I loved 100 years to master.
Yeah, it took 100 years.
Oh no, it's written in the Torah. Yeah. Like their struggles are written there.
Their struggles are real.
It's like they're And
we don't idolize at all our matriarchs and our patriarchs. We're like in some religions, like, oh, they never made mistakes. No, they were real. They were human. They prayed. Yeah. They repented. What we see in the end, in the bottom line of the matriarchs and patriarchs' lives, is even if they fell, they knew how to bounce back. It was about always them striving to have a greater relationship with God. So whatever came their way, they used that situation. How could we grow from it? And the big question, I was reading this, I forgot which rabbi had said this, like why the patriarchs and the matriarchs were so beloved by God is because they had an agenda in their head. Their question that motivated them and propelled them was always, how can I give nachat? Nachat is joy, is satisfaction to the Creator. Like they woke up in the morning and thought of it, and every hour they thought of it. So they were walking around life saying, how do I give Hashem nachat? You imagine we walked around and they say, how do I give God joy? How do I make God proud of me? How do I make this world a better place? The world would be a better place if we were operating out of that consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So that's what really kind of was so unique about the matriarchs and patriarchs. They were real, but they bounced back up. That's what King David says, Sheva yipol tzadik v'kam. It's not that a tzaddik, he says, a righteous man will fall. Sheva yipol, like I'll fall 7 times, many times, v'kam. The idea of a tzaddik, a righteous person, is that he doesn't let the falling down get him. Because like what could happen a lot of times is like we fall spiritually, or we're like disappointed with ourselves. We made a bad choice, and then what a non-righteous person does, beat themselves up so badly that they lose the inspiration and they don't believe in themselves anymore. They're like, it's like almost like if you messed up on a diet, you're like, okay, I'm just going to mess up the rest of the day because I already ate. I've been doing this for the past 20 years. That explains the extra 20 pounds. But it's like I messed up like 20 years ago, and I was like, okay. And I keep starting a diet every morning. What diet am I on? The morning diet. Basically, in the morning, I decide I'm going to be on a diet, and by 10 o'clock, I break it, But at least I'm trying, So the righteous person, what we're going to say about the matriarch is the perseverance. Okay?
Yeah.
So
okay.
You want to
let's go through.
Let's go Chava. You starting with Chava?
Yeah, I think Chava. So basically, I'm going to start, and then Devorah will add in different things. Okay, or probably say a lot, but which is good. Chava was no, I'm saying like you probably know a lot more about this topic than I do, so I'm like.
I think that we all bring. I don't think that I know more, but I think that we all bring just a different element. And I'm going to ask Ashley to also share any insights about particular matriarchs that inspire you, that you feel connected to. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Eve. Okay?
I see a lot of people,
Chava.
by the way, on. So I'm like,
Hi,
I'm like
everybody.
looking, I'm like, cool.
I hope that the sound is good. Can they hear us? Can you guys tell me if the sound is good? Okay. So Eve, tell us about her.
Okay, so she, Adam was created. He needed a partner, and so she was taken from his rib. So Adam was created from the dust and like. I guess
she's created,
the dust and Hashem's breath, I guess. Like
right.
there must be something else there too. But like, and then Chava, she was created from an already existing person, Adam, the rib, and Hashem's breath. So intrinsically, Chava is at a higher spiritual level than Adam. That was how women are created, with a higher ability to connect to Hashem, because it's not attached to the ground. It was already attached to a living thing, how they were created. And it was, I guess it's an interesting thing I'm like thinking about now, that it's really the sole purpose, not a purpose, but like we have this ability to really be a supporter and to connect to other people, and we were created like from, there was a loneliness, and like that's where we came in, and
right.
like fulfilled that, and like
right.
They say like there were 10 parts of speech that were given to the world, and 9 were given to women, and 1 was so like we have this incredible power of like of connection and
bridging
and
right? building
so
bridges and networking. Not that men can't do it, but it's a very strong feminine quality that we are. Yeah.
Yes.
So another thing that I just love about Chava, that she says it's when they describe her name, why she's named that way, is Em Kol Chai. She's the mother of all living. And when we think mother, the word mother, it's like, heartwarming, right? So we all have this ability to be nurturers, and we're mothers.
I'm going to start writing down traits.
Yeah, so we have a poster here. We're writing down all the traits. So we're saying supporter, nurturer, companions, right? Bridge builders, lamplighters, the ability to elevate and to inspire and connect, right? We're going to go to the next matriarch, which is Sarah. We're going to look a little bit into Sarah.
Okay. So, okay. And as you're looking at these, like as you're thinking about these different traits, so that like if something like kind of sparks out to you that you're like, oh wow, I'm like that, or I do. So just write that word down, circle it, or whatever, because we're going to be looking for the feminine traits that you
possess, basically.
Bring to the world, and
right.
how you bring your feminine traits to the world, because every person is different. One person could be able to build people up through words. Another person could be able to, let's say we just had this of having good boundaries, and that same person who could have good boundaries could have a very hard time being like open. Building up with words and open. And that same person that's like, oh, I really need to work on these boundaries. It's like, I never have time for myself or whatever. They're the one that's very good at words. So just recognizing which ones are us that we relate to, and
it's very empowering. Like I've been doing the study of the matriarchs for years, and I do believe, and it's a dream of mine, to create a personality test based on the matriarchs,
like a
and kind of quiz. So kind of like give you like at the end of this, so to say, matriarch personality test, you say you're a major Sarah with a minor Rachel. You got to work a little bit on your Leah, right? And a lot of Rivka. You're missing a lot of Rivka in you, So I connect with Sarah. Sarah's very outspoken and very democratic kind of relationship with her husband. She's able to be very open with him and say, I really don't like the influence of Ishmael. I don't think it's going to be good for our son, since he is chosen to be the heir and the continuation of the legacy of the Jewish people. And I think it's dangerous to have this kind of influence here. And Abraham, rolls his eyes, and Hashem says, listen to her, right? And she's known that she has her own tent, and that she is teaching women. She's got a women's yeshiva going on. And then you're looking, and you don't mind me for a minute, jumping.
Sure.
Rivka, she is very different. She's very timid. The minute she meets Yitzhak, she kind of, like they say, she falls off from the camel, and she's in very big awe of him. And their relationship is also very different, and she's a bit intimidated by him. She's never really truly open with him. She has this very deep wisdom, and she realizes that her two kids are very, very different, going on different paths. And for some reason, Yitzhak doesn't see it. And she devises this whole plan, kind of in a roundabout way, that the bracha, the blessing, will go to Yaakov, the other son. And it wasn't because she didn't love Esav, but she knew that it would get misused by him. So with her wisdom, she orchestrated that. So we're seeing this this ability.
What traits from Sarah?
So Sarah is very assertive, but I would say a healthy assertiveness. Confident. She's very confident, right? Because she's confident in her own right.
I have I think for Sarah, it's like, for me, it's like a self-assurance in doing what's right and feeling and doing it in a feminine way. She's not like her husband. She knows her husband's not going to, it's not going to become a battle when she's going to say it, or he's going to be receptive to her, and it's fine, but it's like she's doing it from
a place of conviction that she believes in. She's definitely passionate in what she believes in, and she's also strong. I find Sarah to be all of the matriarchs. I would say what defines them is this strength, this feminine strength. They're in their. I would say they have their chi. They're very connected. They're very connected. They're spiritual. Going back for a minute, we're jumping to Rivka and Sarah just so you could see the difference. She's not able to tell Yitzhak, we shouldn't do it like this. It's a different kind of strength that she has. She's not comfortable to be assertive.
I don't know if
she's not as overt, I think.
Yeah, but her beauty was that she does it in a very
backdoor kind of way. But that was
and
her.
That is right. That's her strength.
That's a good thing to have.
Very good thing to have. I'm saying, but it's, again, each one of the matriarchs are very different, but they all complement each other. Yeah. And the way I look at it is, I think we all have in our spiritual DNA all the matriarchs, right? But it could be that one matriarch is more dominant. That's I just identify with Sarah. And some women are just more Rachel, her silence, and her accepting of her faith. And Leah, she's like, no way am I marrying Esav, and she demands and she cries. And she gets to marry the tzaddik, and she gets everything that she wanted in the end, But her perseverance was no, I'm not taking no for an answer, And so it's not good or bad. It's just that they're different, and they're all amazing feminine qualities. And because they're our mothers, we all have it. It's rooted in our spiritual DNA. It's I'm as I'm getting older, and so many times I find myself talking like my mom or saying phrases, right? Or I'm even starting to, you find that in yourself? Yeah. And just looking more like my mom, And it's so funny, when I was younger, I didn't appreciate my mom as well, and she's on Facebook. But and now I just say I wish I was up to the ankles of my mom. I wish I had a sliver of her patience and her nobility and how graceful she was, So we are connected. We don't realize that we could literally plug in at any moment to the energy of the matriarchs, because it's not far away. It's not an outside thing. If we're their daughters, it's in our spiritual DNA. That's why it's really important to learn about the matriarchs, and then to realize that we all have these strengths. Then it's not really an outside story, and it gives you so much comfort, We have this matriarch meditation we're going to do soon. You'll see.
So
and we're going into Rivka. Oh, you want to read a little bit more of Sarah?
No, I think that we're good.
Recovered?
Conviction, strong, self-assurance. I mean, she had she was very snua.
Very modest?
Yeah, she was very modest.
Sarah?
Yeah, but she was also very beautiful, but that didn't take away from any mission. That beauty enhanced what she was doing, and that's an interesting thing. Sarah's the power of tefillah that she had, she and all the matriarchs had that
they were barren, right?
Yeah, the Hashem listened to them, and they're I think when she was taken by Avimelech, that she it was her tefillah,
she was kidnapped, and she prayed, and it was on her merit that she actually was released and got out. And they say that Hashem always when the matriarchs were barren and they prayed, Hashem answered their prayer. They were able to basically like transform, nature, because really they were barren. They weren't even supposed to have children biologically, like the way they were structured. But their prayer literally changed reality. So like the power,
gave Sarah a uterus, basically.
Yeah, oh my gosh,
no,
yeah.
like she was born without one, and literally like gave her, like it's
so
like
the ability of prayer is unbelievable. That women really, men also. I'm not taking away from men, but like really that we have this very strong connection to prayer and personal prayer. That it's unbelievable. And the biggest gift as a woman that you could do is pray for others. Let's say you're a big nurturer and you want to give, but let's say that people are not open to it. Let's say you're in a situation, right? Or like you're worried, like this happens to me with my older kids. I worry about them, but I can't control them anymore, tell them what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Mom, I'm 24. Like, don't tell me what to do anymore. But I could pray for them, right? That's what I could do for them. So that is.
It's the state. And listen, like, if that's your almost shtadlus in that area, it's like you like Hashem could do anything, and you just you could think whatever you could want all poverty to be gone or this that like you could have global prayers and really like it could, and things could change in the world from the way that you're thinking about things, and like because Hashem could accept them and make things different. So it's like we have such a amazing power of like that connection to Hashem and that ability to receive, bring down that blessing. So so Rivka. So
our next matriarch is Rivka,
okay.
Rebecca.
So we're gonna go a little bit about. So she had this like deep intuition. So I'm gonna write that for Rivka. An intuition that like there were these. She didn't know that she was having twins. She thought it was one, and like anytime they would pass a idol place, like it would kick, and then anytime they would pass like a shul would kick and be like, what is wrong with this child? Like why are there such strong inclinations in both areas? So she went to ask a question by herself to a Rav. Like sometimes we think like, oh, my husband's the only one that could do it. No, she went herself, and like it's fine. You could go ask, and it is Shame and Aver, and she got that answer, and she
basically they tell her it's not a schizophrenic child, but it's two, right?
There's two, and so and that with that knowledge she had, I guess. I don't know. I think she had like maybe a wisdom, I think maybe Sarah and Abraham, their relationship was different. It was more open, right. And Rivka, Yitzhak was a more closed person in the first place. So
they say
figuratively.
Not only that, they say because the angels cried and tears went into his eyes, and he was so holy he never left Israel. That there was like he was almost like a half an angel, and there was reverence around him. It's called like one of his qualities is called Pachad Yitzhak, that he instilled like an awe around him. And he himself was the type of person that was he was intense in his worship of God, right? But she loved him. Like the minute she saw him, she was like, wow. She was blown away by him. Like she really worshipped him. She was like, wow, my husband Yitzhak. It was a perfect match, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Sarah Yitzhak, but it's just so interesting, like how Hashem put the matriarchs and the patriarchs exactly, they complemented each other,
Yeah, and that like, and I think that it's a very interesting thing is that like, that is one way a relationship could work with certain, if there's someone that you see that has like, I don't know whether it be either maybe she knew that he wasn't able to either handle this. I don't know. I have no idea what her cheshbon was, but she did have a cheshbon of why she didn't say it to him, and
I'm just translating.
It was like
cheshbon accounting. Like she must have had a certain logic why she didn't feel like
he could handle the real
exactly.
And so that's her ability, like right. that she's able to have something internal that she knows and say, okay, I'm going to affect this, and I'm going to determine these situations. He's giving a bracha, I'm going to put the sheepskin, and I'm going to figure this thing out and tell him to go run. And this is how the Jewish people are going to continue through this. It's all through the matriarchs how the Jewish people continue.
Right.
So
did you say that she's strategic?
Yeah, that's a great word. I like that.
I like that word, strategic.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, it's not, I don't know, maybe even like start, like it's like a little like more emotional, but that's like, and Rivka like thought out, plan how she's going to say what, and like they're both great traits, like,
yeah.
So, okay, so intuition, strategic, backdoor.
Yeah, it's a certain quality. Like, there's this movie, Big Fat Greek Wedding. And the mother tells the daughter, you got to be smart. You can't just go to a man and say, this is what you need to do. You need to make the man, you're the neck, she says, and he's the head.
That's so true.
And you need to make him feel like he's the head. And really, you are the neck, and you are calling the shots, and you're moving the direction, right?
That's
and
totally
I think it's a feminine quality,
Sure.
Like I see it with my kids, I totally have to do it like that, you know what I'm saying? For their own good, you know what I'm saying? It's like...
No, or even in life, what, like if someone you see has like either an ego in a certain area, someone needs to tiptoe around it and say, like you can't just say things directly. It's not going to go,
Right.
So...
You want to build more position. Okay, we are going.
So
Rachel.
So she is the ultimate. We saw this whole video on Rachel and she's like the giver of like her self-sacrifice for. She was supposed to marry. Yaakov, thanks. I get confused all the time. So she was supposed to marry Yaakov, and that was like the love of her life, and it was.
She waited 7 years.
Yeah, and it says like Rabbi Waller saying this whole thing. He said like it wasn't like an easy thing for her. It like she had to like battle inside of her. Like if like it was hard for her to give up that. Being married to him, like the first time, whatever, to her sister, not to embarrass her. And it says with Rachel that is why when the Jewish people brought an idol in the Beis Mikdash, all the patriarchs came and said, you need to just forgive the Jewish people. Forgive. And then Rachel came and said, I put my own sister in my house, like almost like the kind of like the Jewish people put an idol, like someone who's almost taking away her, what is it, like a ability, or she has to compete. It was competition. She put that in her own house, and that's the choice that she made, and that's why Hashem forgave the Jewish people, because
she came and
what
pleaded
she
with
did.
Hashem,
She
please
pleaded
forgive
and said,
your kids,
right,
that they're idol worshippers. So he wasn't listening to any matriarchs and any patriarch. But when Rachel said, Hashem, like I overcame my like.
Right, she didn't have any jealousy when she did. So that's a very important point that I feel like with women, sometimes we give and we say, I'm going to self-sacrifice and be a martyr and all, like, whatever. Like, that's not the giving that Rachel did. She did it from a full place, like a full place. She didn't have that jealousy. She said this, she overcame those different things inside of her and said, I'm not going to regret this. I'm not going to feel,
like a victim.
I'm not going to have, because that sort of giving with the all that, with all those ties into it, nobody's necessarily going to be happier with your giving in that area. Like even if sometimes I see it myself. Like if I'm, I don't know, just not feeling. Like I have a lot of energy or something, and my kids are there, and like they need certain things. I want to bake cookies. I want to do whatever. If I, even though like that motherly thing inside of me, I'd be such a good mother if I like went and helped bake cookies. And no, I'm going to be a much better mother if I go say, you know what, and like putting up the boundaries, saying like I need a rest. Mommy needs time for 15 minutes. Like I'll give you a toy. I'm going to take care of myself. And then you get up and you're rejuvenated and you could do the same thing and they will have so much more joy doing it with you. So like, I'm just giving this as an example, but I'm sure it could apply with many, many other ways, either or relationships with parent or like with anything, that you don't have to give where it's too much. So I guess that was an important point with Rachel.
I always find with Rachel because we can't relate to it so much. This level of giving, right? Because you're like, wait, why don't you stand up and say to her dad, no, because her dad alerted her that was going to happen, and so she went ahead and interceded and gave her sister the signs, and it was the love of her life. I mean, 7 years is a long time, you know what I'm saying? So like for her to think, and she didn't know that she was going to get a chance to marry him, right? But in those day and age, they did marry more than one woman. One woman. But I think that still that even if she thought, okay, I'll get to marry him after, who knows when? Her dad was such a swindler. So 14 years, like a long, long time, to wait, right?
So that's a true testament of like faith.
Yeah.
And
Emunah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Emunah. We have to put Emunah in there.
We
Yeah.
have to put Emunah. Emunah
Yeah,
is
that's
a
the basic
big
one.
feminine trait.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something interesting, that the Emunah level of a woman totally sets the tone of the house. A woman is like, yeah, but like in any situation.
Even in a work
In
environment,
a work environment,
or in your own family, or
lifting everybody.
Yes,
What's in a situation,
yes.
everybody's worried. But you're saying, no, I'm sure God
it's
has
going to be fine.
It's going to be okay. There's a good plan,
Right.
But if I fall apart, I usually bring down the family, It's so important that we keep, like, we're like, so to say, the Emunah compass of our family, or the gauge. So we got to keep ourselves kind of balanced. But Emunah is a big feminine trait. Mm-hmm. So we are going to Leah.
Wait, 1 second.
Is there anything about Rachel?
So she said, Leah says to her, when there was the flower. Maybe can you explain the story with the flower? This kind of ties into Leah with the Judaism.
Okay, so Leah had many kids. She's easier for her, and Rachel couldn't conceive. So her son, I think she had one kid. She didn't have Binyamin yet. So her son goes and he wants the Judaism, which is this fertility plant, and she gets it. And Leah says, you can't take that. And she says, I will give you Yaakov. Like, you'll have a chance to be with Yaakov. He's supposed to be with me. And so to say, like, she buys this time with Yaakov in order for her to get the plant. So she sells this, so to say, this time in order to get the plants, right? And we see this perseverance of Leah, She is like, she knows she does not want to marry a Rasha. And she cries her eyes out.
No, she was destined to marry.
She was destined
to Esav, right?
Right, she was destined to marry Esav, this very wicked man, and she cries and cries and cries and ends up, thank God, changing reality and the decree and marrying this righteous man.
Through prayer, you can change your
destiny.
Yes.
Yeah, you could totally change your destiny.
Even if it was your
right.
Bashir, it doesn't have to be.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
above. Yeah, totally. It's interesting. I was in Israel and I had the privilege of being in a live class with Rebbetzin Yemima Mizrahi. I'm a big fan of hers. I've been subscribed for her classes for many years, and it was like, wow, I was in awe to be there. Cried for an hour and a half. She's so emotional and touching, and she spoke about Rachel and Leah, and she was saying that she sees a lot of women that are just so much Rachel, like Rachel. The biggest thing about Rachel was her silence, that she was willing to, be quiet, which is a beautiful quality, right? Sometimes we do have to be.
We should be more silent.
We should be more silent, But she's saying that there's too much of it, because she says Leah, like there was silence there also. It's not as loud as Rachel's silence. Everybody knows about Rachel. She was quiet. She gave the simanim. But Leah, man, what she went through. She was always a second thought, an afterthought, right? So Yaakov didn't really want her, right? And then he gets her, right? And then she, like, every time she has a child, she's like, and now, thank God, I have another child. She's always hoping to have this closer relationship. In the end, she has more children and kingship. The Mashiach, Messiah, comes out of her, and Judah, the Judaic and the Davidic dynasty, right? Exactly, and it comes out of Leah. She gets buried in the end, internally rest next to Yaakov.
That's true.
And unfortunately, Rachel dies young, doesn't have as many children, dies and gets buried on the side of the road. I'm not saying, God forbid, as a punishment. It's just that the observation is that Leah, with her perseverance of this, this knowing that she will not take no for an answer. It's like this very strong bitachon. Bitachon is a level of emunah, of knowing that Hashem is going to answer her prayers. And in the end, all her prayers were answered.
But it's almost that she must have had to believe. It's funny because I almost say sometimes we limit Hashem, like to what He can give us. But Leah didn't allow that. She's like, no, Hashem, you want to give me everything. You want me to be married. You want me to have children. You want me you want the world from me, like parnasa, everything, and like not stopping, like when it gets there, like no, just keep on going, like it's just and in the end, that's that tefillah just really allowed that to happen.
It totally allowed it to happen.
So, but the
what's
interesting
the other thing?
Okay, one second about for this situation with Rachel, but the interesting thing with the Judaim is that she said Leah did say, first you took my husband, now you're going to take my flowers, like when they were first negotiating it, I guess. But I guess going back to Rachel, she did remain silent, and
she didn't say to her, what do you mean I took your husband? I gave you my husband.
It was Leah, the amazing thing of Rachel, Leah never knew the chesed. For her to be able to say, first you took this, she didn't even know
the sacrifice that her sister made.
She had no idea. So like,
that's true specialness, to not throw it back in somebody else's face.
Yes, what you did for them. Well, I gave you this. You should do this.
The real charity is the stuff that you don't.
No one knows about.
No one knows about. You're gonna get no publicity, And it could even be like a situation where you helped someone get a job or something, then they're being like really rude to you, and you're like, hey, I helped you get that job. It's not like waving it back in their face and making lists. Like certain people, I've done this, where like I'll mention it like to my husband, but I did this and this and this, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the real feminine quality is really just giving,
Right. But but they say like the highest level of charity is giving to a person when nobody else even knows that it happened, and that it's like, it's just like, I feel like that's, maybe part of Rachel's silence is that it was just, it's only between her and Hashem.
Right. She has this very strong relationship with God.
And so, like all that, like we should be able to do, aspire to do kindness without
getting recognition from
do
it without the plaque or the news report or a Facebook status, so
anything wait, what trait is that for Leah or no for Rachel? I'm gonna call it humility almost.
Humility. Okay, so some of Leah's traits
were perseverance,
emunah, very strong faith. What else?
And
the prayer. The prayer is one of those big, right? Okay, we are going to Yael. Do you want to do Yael?
I don't really remember what I had about that one. So
okay.
I think it was more that
Yael is one of the Yael is one of the prophetess. Are you talking about Yael and Sisera?
Yeah.
Right. So Yael is like an interesting story, right? So her husband, he's not very knowledgeable, and she wants him to be like, he's kind of like a truck driver, and like so he's not very knowledgeable and immersed in Torah. So she sends him to the temple to bring wicks, and she sends him different kind of sizes of and measurements of wicks. So to get him busy and immersed in holiness. And it is like such wisdom of a woman how to build, so to say, another person, right? And it's like, oh, Laura, go do something with your life. Stop just being a surfer. But like she's going about it in a way, she's giving him a job. He feels needed, and like he finds himself, he's immersed in,
Wait, who was the one that killed the army general?
Right. So then she becomes, the judge of Israel, and she goes out to war, and her and him are generals, basically. It's him and her. But what I loved about when she has like this beautiful like Shira of Yael, is it Devorah or Yael?
Wait, I think
Am I confusing?
I think it's Devorah. I think Devorah is the wicks.
No, the Devorah is the story with the wicks. Okay. Yeah, Devorah, I should know this because my name is Devorah. Yeah, she's the one, her husband is Barak. And she sends him to the temple, and then they both wage war for the Jewish people, and they win, right? And Yael is the one who, with this wisdom, kills Sisera. She's the story of, is it Hanukkah or Yehudit is the Hanukkah story? I can't remember. People on Facebook, let us know. But Yael also, she killed one of these like generals.
Right. So the part with Yael that I like vividly remember,
or the one that she cut their head off.
Yeah, that she went like the Jewish people were like I think that like there was an army that was surrounding the Jewish people, and they were kind of like we can't beat the whatever, and Yael kind of is like, no, let me go to this army general's tent. And I forgot what she said, but she ended up going in, and you sometimes you think like, oh, yeah, a lot of the other imahos, it's like they were behind the scenes and different things. But what I love about Yael, she went there, she orchestrated this whole thing, and like literally like cut off a guy's head. Like she's just like what just happened, right? Like
she gets him drunk, or she gives him milk.
Right.
I know there's so many variations.
Yeah, so it's just but the amazing thing with her was just like that. First of all, the wisdom, and also like she like used that feminine power to do something almost not that you would think. She almost went out of her role to save the rest of the people. So it was like, she knew how and when to do that. So
I think we should do the meditation, and then we'll do that exercise.
Awesome.
And we'll go into, okay, so we're going to read it together because there's a power to the voice when you read this. And this is a matriarch meditation. And maybe I'll post it later for those who want it. So check my Facebook page for the matriarch meditation. So we're going to read together. I am Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. I possess within me faith, strength, and beauty that was imparted to me by my mothers and all the holy women of all the generations that came before me. I am a link in this rich, strong legacy of spirituality. I'm a daughter of my imahot. They are rooted in my spiritual DNA. I am never alone. I feel my mother's love and guidance in my life. I choose to walk in their footsteps. My path reflects their images and characteristics. Voices continue to ring out with strength and wisdom. Their examples serve as channels through which divine presence is revealed to me. The lives of the matriarchs, prophetess, and righteous women are the mirror of my own dreams and hopes, fears, and frustrations. Through this mirror, I see myself as a Jew, as a woman, as an individual, and as part of the whole Jewish nation. They provide me with guidance as to how I should approach my relationship with people around me and with my Creator. At this moment, I connect with the infinite wisdom of my mothers. So this is based on, 1 minute, isn't it powerful?
Yeah, it's amazing. So
this is based on this very amazing book. Yeah. It's called Mirrors of Our Lives, Reflections of Women in Tanakh. I love this book by Rebbetzin Holly Pavlov. So kind of like sentences from the book I put together to create this meditation, but a lot of these sentences are from Rebbetzin Holly Pavlov. So I want to give credit to that, and it's a great book. So what we're saying in essence, that we are those imahot. We are their daughters. We're made from their spiritual DNA. So at any given moment, we could sort of say recharge and connect, and that wisdom is within us. It's not far away. It's not out there. We have their abilities. So now we are giving out. We have like the workshop part of this.
So I'm going to read a couple of the questions. I guess whatever. If you want to do it, you're more than welcome.
So those at home, this is more like the workshop part of the class. So if you have like some writing materials, and we're going to read these questions out loud, and if you want to fill it, I do believe that there's a power to writing,
Mm-hmm.
Like I find it's such an important process in growing and in healing, and, it internalizes it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the first question is to write down the feminine traits that you connect to from the stories. So I'm going to read the ones that are here. And if there's any that you connect to, then just write them down. Conviction, strong, backdoor, power of prayer, intuition, strategic, influencer, humility, silence, perseverance, emunah, self-sacrifice with joy, supporter, nurture, elevate, inspire, connect, builder, and strength.
So for many of that list of the feminine traits that we saw in the matriarchs, do you connect to any of them Do you possess any of them? Do you aspire to have any of them? So write those down. So these are the feminine traits that I connect to. Can I share, like the ones that spoke to me?
Sure.
Okay, so I wrote intuition because I feel like I'm pretty intuitive. To a degree, sometimes that it drives me crazy. Like this happened to me a few times where I've been at weddings and I just know the couple's gonna get divorced. And it's like, I hate my intuition. I leave with my husband, I'm saying, I have intuition, they're not making it. You know, and it's like a few years later we hear, but women have like this
Sixth
sense, right? Or the sixth sense. Okay, intuition, perseverance, emuna, nurturer, and elevator, and inspire. So I connect to those. Any of you want to share?
Yeah. I actually had a few more from a different list that I was doing before.
Okay.
But I remember I connected to like integrity in almost doing what's right and like that through that connection to Hashem, and supporter and builder. But really, I guess just like with, I don't know, like almost like with Hashem is through like helping with that, and probably emotional also, but that's a good thing.
I think it's good. Yeah, I think being emotional and connectable is definitely a feminine trait.
Yeah,
you know?
No, it's definitely like your heart is there, you know.
Yeah.
So okay, so you know they say like every trait has its positives and negatives. So I know like if my heart connects to things, it's like okay, so I have an ability to connect, but so I have to figure out like how to disconnect sometimes, and like that's okay, you know. But like every positive trait has also its, you know,
the negative.
Yeah, the way that you know you need to channel it. So yeah.
Okay, so our next question on the page is how do I use my feminine traits in the world, either at work, other situations, and home? So you listed some feminine traits. Ashley, do you want to share some of the feminine traits you connected with?
Sure. I put, emuna and prayer, giver, passion, to never give up and keep going, and also to support and build.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Wow.
I want to be your friend.
You already.
I know. I'm so lucky.
So how do I use my feminine traits in the world? So it would either be let's say for not married, at work, with parents and relationships.
Interpersonal relationships.
You could, for those that are married, you could do it with, how do I use my feminine traits in marriage?